Hey there, guys. Welcome to another video. I don't have my microphone set up. I do have a mic set up that I'm gonna start using for my videos, but I didn't set it up because this is kind of impromptu. I did not plan on making this, but I thought I'd make it because we hit a major milestone that I am so thankful for. Today, August 14th, we have finally hit 300 subscribers. Now, I know some people hear that and they're like, Zeke, that 300 subscribers, guys like Chris Stuckman and John Chris Stuckman has 2 million subscribers. Yeah, but for someone like me who's been doing this for almost 10 years now, I've been on YouTube for 9 years. Next year will be my 10th year. And the fact that I've hit 300 subscribers in those 9 years just blows my mind. And it's, I always thought I was going to be this small little, and relatively, compared to other YouTube channels, I'm still I have a very small audience. A great audience that I'm super thankful for, but a small audience nonetheless. But the fact that I never once imagined myself getting to 300 subscribers. I mean, it took me 3 years just to get to 100, and that was a big deal for me when I hit 100 subscribers. That was a very big milestone for me. And I didn't really do a video when I hit 200 subscribers because I wanted to kind of just see how the channel grew. And honestly, the channel didn't really start growing until about I want to say 2 years ago, when I started doing these out of the theater reactions. The out of the theater reactions really helped my channel because they were short reviews. When I first started on YouTube, I was doing much longer form reviews. I was like doing kind of like Chris Stuckman mixed with John Campea. I was like doing 15-minute, sometimes 30-minute reviews for movies. And it just got to a point where, number one, it was draining on me. It felt like I literally felt tired after every video, and I was exhausted. But also then, it just, like, my channel was never really going up. It was at a standstill for the most part. And then the pandemic happened, and I stopped making YouTube videos. I doubled down on podcasting. I really doubled down on podcasting and just started working on that during the pandemic, from 2020 all the way up to 2021. And I want to say my first out of the theater reaction I ever made was actually for a movie that I absolutely did not like, but it is a movie. It is the first one that I did an out of the theater reaction for, and that's only because it was the first movie I saw when theaters were opened up again. I'm trying to find the there it is, the playlist for out of the theater reactions. The first out of the theater reaction I ever did, no joke, this 100% serious, was this video that's called, at first it was a series called Behind the Geek, and it was an out of the theater reaction for Mortal Kombat, the 2021 film. You guys remember that? You guys remember Mortal Kombat? Sadly, I do too. But yeah, that was 3 years ago. I started these out of the theater reactions, and I just kept doing them, and I kept doing them, and they eventually got to a point where a movie that I had no idea that people would have any remote interest in hearing my opinion about, my Expendables 4 out of the theater reaction, is I think it is my most viewed video. I think it's actually my most viewed video. I'm actually on my YouTube channel, kind of going through the analytics here. Yeah. My Expendables 4 out of the theater reaction is the most viewed video on my channel with 33,000 views. Like that part alone makes me go, that's interesting. Out of all the movies I've done out of the theater reactions for, I've gone to see superhero movies early. I've gone to see like really big franchise stuff early. But the fact that Expendables 4, Expendables 4, of all the out of the theater reactions I've done, got a 33,000 views. But but it just goes to show that it was really that those out of theater reactions helped me out ultimately, and honestly, in reality, the big thing I gotta thank, I gotta thank you guys, all of you who have subscribed to my YouTube channel. This has been, so far in the 9 years I've done this has been just an absolute blast for me. A little bit of a personal story. I'm gonna share a little personal story. I usually don't like to get personal on my podcast or YouTube channel, but getting a little personal here. When I first started my YouTube channel, one of the promises I made myself was I was not going to let anybody tell me what content I should make and what content I shouldn't make. I was going to stick to what I knew and what I loved, which was talking about movies, which is watching movies, talking about them, making movies. I've made some really amateur short films for this channel that you guys have liked. Thank goodness you guys have liked them. But at the same time, that's the kind of stuff I wanted to make. And I've had people in the past kind of suggest, hey, maybe you should do this. Maybe you should follow this trend. Oh, this is very popular. Maybe you should do this. Oh, you should start a TikTok. And I said, you know what? It might. Like doing stuff like that, following a trend might help. But is it going to make me happy in the end? Because I was put in situations where I wasn't happy with the work I was doing. When I was in high school, I took video production classes, and for the first 2 years that I was in those classes, I was basically just kind of the guy who just helped somebody else with their project. And by somebody else, I mean, especially in my first year in particular, but people who didn't really care about the how good it was. They only cared about like the grade itself, which is important. I'm not saying, please do not mistake me. I am not for the life of me saying that getting a good grade in school is a bad thing. Stay in school, kids. I am by no means saying that getting a good grade in school is a bad thing. It's a great thing to have that mentality, However, I looked at film and video production, whatever. I look at it as art. This right here, this is art to me. This is how I see it. And I was always put in positions where I was never allowed to express myself and express my voice as an artist. I'm not gonna, and I say that, and I know it's me. I know I sound really just up, like kind of full of myself. Oh, he's so full of himself. But that's just how I felt at the time, And from that moment on, especially after that first year, from that moment on, and even the second year was a little rough. Some might say even rougher, but especially after those two instances, I made a promise to myself that I was not going to let anybody tell me what I should do and what kind of content I should make. I'll take suggestions. I'll listen to people's suggestions. I'll listen to people's opinions. But at the end of the day, everything I do on this channel, on the podcast, on my Instagram, whatever, is mine to control. It's mine. You know, I am the one who is in control and the one who should be in control of anything and everything that goes on this channel, you know. And I made that promise to myself 9 years ago, and I have stuck with that I've stuck to that, you know. And that is why it took me 3 years to get to 100 subscribers. And it took me 9 years to get to 300. Because I did not just say, I was, you know, if I had taken those, if I had done those videos and followed trends, yeah, I would have gotten a lot of more subscribers, but would I have been happy with that? No. I would not have been happy with that. I would be kind of I don't know. I get like I would just be feel really icky about it. You know, like for me, it's more about for me. It was about my passions and my creativity. I care so much about being creative. I care so much about storytelling. You know, I love movies in particular. You know, movies are my favorite form of art and they're my favorite form of storytelling. You know, there is nothing more powerful in this world than the story that's being told in a movie. Nothing more powerful. Even the best TV shows couldn't even stick on the same level as some of the greatest movies ever made, like The Godfather. You know, and that's why I love movies, and that's why and that's the kind of passion I wanted to bring into this. Yeah, could I have gone to? Would I be at, I don't know, 10,000 subscribers by now if I had followed trends? Probably. You know, if I had given my opinion on politics and, you know, what do you think about this person running for president? I'm sure I'd get an audience out of that. Good or bad audience. Depending on what side you're on. Good or bad. But at the end of the day, that kind of stuff doesn't satisfy me. It doesn't make me happy. It doesn't get that passion out of me like the way movies do. Movies get that passion out of me. Storytelling gets that passion out of me. You know, when I go to a movie theater and I have an experience like watching Spider-Man No Way Home on the big screen for the first time. I'll never forget that first viewing of Spider-Man No Way Home, or going to the theater and recently and seeing Deadpool and Wolverine for the first time on the big screen. And the story that was being told, and the story that I was so moved, like the Iron Claw, where I was so emotionally moved by that movie. You know, I walked out having a strong emotional reaction to it. You know, that's the kind of passion I have about movies, and that's the kind of discussion I like to have about movies. And I created this YouTube channel as a way for me to have those discussions, because I didn't have a lot of people that I could, you know, like I could mention movies around my family and they would listen, you know, and you know, they would be interested in some of the things I would talk about. and I had certainly friends who liked movies, and they were, much more simple about it. It was more like, hey, we'd go to a movie and be like, what'd you think of it? And they're like, oh yeah, it was good. But meanwhile, I wanted to get into like really in depth, like, oh my gosh, like, how'd you feel? Like, did it make you feel something? Did you think about it? Like, all the different things that I think about when I watch a movie, and the first things I start to feel when I see a movie, like, how does somebody like how do my friends want to react to it, and sometimes people don't feel that way. Sometimes people don't have the same passion about movies as I do, and that's okay, because guess what? That's why I started this YouTube channel, was that so that I could have an outlet to express that passion and to share my love of movies. This has been an outlet of mine. This has been kind of like my safe haven for for 9 years now. And I am just thrilled that 300 of you have joined me on this journey and have stuck through it with me. Going back to the days where I was filming these YouTube videos in my bedroom closet. That's where that's where my YouTube videos started from. I was filming them from a bedroom closet using the backdrop I have. There was a shelf with books on it, and I had to push all the hangers that had clothes away from the camera so nobody saw these clothes hanging off the side of the camera. That's where my channel started, and that's how I ultimately kind of got to where that's where it all began for me, as far as YouTube videos goes, and then even taking some of that with me in other places. I mean, a lot of my YouTube channel subscribers probably haven't seen some of this footage because I've never put it on my YouTube channel. But in high school, I was part of the high school news show, and I was a weather guy. Some of my subscribers may even be may have joined me because of said weather segments. And maybe I'll share those someday. Maybe that's what I'll do for 300 subscribers. I have one of the clips. I do have one of the clips. Maybe I'll post one. It might be at the end of this video. But nonetheless, thank you so much. Truly, I thank you so much for getting me to 300 subscribers, and for taking this journey with me. This is literally one of my favorite parts about life, is sharing my passion about movies, comic books, television, storytelling. I can't tell you enough just how grateful I am that I get to do this, and that I get to do it while working a full-time job, while going to school. I get to do this, and I have an absolute blast doing it. But that will do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to have an out of the theater tomorrow. You're going to get an out of the theater reaction for Alien Romulus. I'm so excited to see that movie. So look out for that. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you guys like the video, please make sure you leave a thumbs up and subscribe. I think I should subscribe to the channel because Zeke the Geek said so. And I will talk to you guys later. Peace out.
On Monday and Thursday. Enjoy it while it lasts, because someday Bakersfield will look like this. I'm Zeke the Geek. Back to you in the studio.